In late 2024, people in New Jersey started looking up not at one strange light, at patterns, blinking, clusters, things that seemed too low, too slow, too coordinated, and somehow just deliberate enough to feel like they belonged to somebody. The first reports did not need a monster to become unsettling. They only needed repetition. A neighbor saw something, then another neighbor, then a town Facebook group, then a local official, then a senator, then everybody had a camera pointed at the sky. By December, the sky over parts of the Northeast had become a public investigation. People were filming lights over neighborhoods, reservoirs, roads, military facilities, and ordinary dark horizons. And the videos were usually blurry because night sky phone video is where certainty goes to die. But the feeling was not blurry. The feeling was something is up there and nobody in charge is explaining it in a way that makes the room calm down. This is where reality glitches lives, not in the claim that aliens arrived or that a secret invasion was underway, in the stranger fact that normal airspace briefly stopped feeling normal. On December 12th, the careful, boring official story began. The FBI and Homeland Security said they had no evidence that the reported sightings posed a national security threat, a public safety threat, or had a foreign connection. They also said they were still investigating whether reported drone flights were actually drones or instead manned aircraft or otherwise inaccurate sightings. That phrase matters, actually drones, because once the panic started, the word drone became a bucket big enough to hold almost anything with lights. A plane on approach could become a drone, a helicopter could become a drone, a hobbyist quadcopter could become a drone, a star could become a drone if the night was nervous enough. Officials said many reported sightings appeared to be lawful manned aircraft. They said electronic detection had not corroborated many of the visual reports. That did not end the story. It made the story weirder because the public was not only asking what the objects were, the public was asking why the answer felt so thin. Then on December 17th, a larger joint statement came from DHS, the FBI, the FAA, and the Department of Defense. The FBI had received more than 5,000 tips about reported drone sightings in just a few weeks. Out of that flood, about 100 leads were generated. That is a stunning ratio, 5,000 moments where somebody thought the sky needed federal attention. About 100 that investigators thought deserved follow-up. The agency said they sent advanced detection technology to the region. They sent trained visual observers. They examined technical data and citizen tips. Their assessment was not one thing, it was a stack. Lawful commercial drones, hobbyist drones, law enforcement drones, manned fixed-wing aircraft, helicopters, and stars mistakenly reported as drones. In other words, the mystery was not solved by finding one culprit. It dissolved into a crowd. That is harder to narrate and probably closer to reality. There may have been real drones, there were definitely real aircraft, there were real stars, there were real videos, and there was real fear binding them together. The federal agencies said they had not identified anything anomalous. They did not assess the activity to present a national security or public safety risk over civilian airspace in New Jersey or other northeastern states. And yet the response still looked serious. The FAA temporarily restricted drone flights in dozens of areas in New Jersey and New York, mostly around critical infrastructure. That is the tension that kept the panic alive. Officials said, "We do not see the monster." Then they acted like they still needed to guard the room where the monster might be. Some of that is just how public safety works, and you can say there is no confirmed threat and still take precautions, but to a frightened public, caution can look like confirmation wearing a tie. New Jersey officials wanted more federal help. Lawmakers wanted more authority. Some people wanted drones shot down. Authorities warned people not to point lasers at aircraft and not to fire weapons at objects they might be misidentifying. That warning tells you a lot. The danger was not only whatever might be in the sky, it was what people on the ground might do once they no longer trusted the sky. The modern night is crowded now. Aircraft transponders, police helicopters, delivery experiments, hobby drones, military facilities, apps that track some things and miss others, cameras that turn distance into grainy mythology. The sky used to be mostly weather, stars, and the occasional plane. Now it is infrastructure, but ordinary people do not have an air traffic control room in their pocket. They have a phone camera, a neighborhood chat, and a feeling that somebody somewhere should know what that blinking thing is. When the answer comes back as lawful drones, aircraft, helicopters, stars, and maybe a few things still being checked, it can sound less like an answer than a shrug with a badge. That is why the New Jersey drone panic is so perfect for this series. The glitch was not one impossible object. The glitch was a public perception system overloaded by too many possible explanations. A drone is a machine, but drone panic is a social machine. It runs on uncertainty, video compression, official caution, institutional distrust, and lights moving against a dark background. Once that machine starts, every normal explanation has to fight for oxygen. The government can say there is no evidence of a foreign nexus. It can say there is no identified anomalous activity. It can say many sightings are aircraft or stars, and still someone standing in a dark driveway can look up and think that does not feel like nothing. Maybe that is the most modern part of the story. Reality did not break because one spectacular secret was revealed. Reality broke because ordinary facts no longer arrived with enough authority to settle the room. In the end, the New Jersey sky did not give us a clean villain. It gave us a mirror. 1 million registered drones, thousands of lawful flights, a flood of tips, a handful of leads, emergency restrictions, official reassurance, public suspicion, all stacked in the same dark air. The sky did not need to be invaded to feel occupied. It only had to stop feeling neutral. And that is where Reality Glitches lives, not outside reality, but inside the moment when a real system becomes too complicated for the people living under it to trust. If you want more strange true stories where the explanation keeps slipping, like subscribe and find the full archive at Archive of Worlds.